Hello and welcome to the Lyman Wolf podcast. I am your host, Raceland, and this is my co-host, Nate. What is going on, buddy?
Not much. Basically just playing games and rewatching shows.
We're going to be talking about a lot of video games on this episode, and I know it's been quite a while since we've done a podcast. I'm glad to be back for once, It's been such a long time.
Me too. I'm glad to be back for once as well.
I feel like all of our listeners were wondering where have they been, and they need to know more about video games, right, Nate? They pine for video game knowledge.
They needed that knowledge.
All right, so what today we are going to be talking about is video games that need a remake. Now, Nate, you were just talking to me before we started the podcast. What is your definition of a remake?
For me, a remake is a game that has been updated with new graphics, new mechanics, possibly a new story, but not necessarily a new story. The main two things I'm looking for a remake is mechanics and graphics update.
Okay. And do you have an example of one so people can kind of get a basis of what we're talking about?
The closest one I can think of is Final Fantasy VII, the remake of that they did with that.
Right, that's
has new mechanics, graphics, and I believe it also has a new story somewhat.
Yeah, it alters the story a little bit. That is a great example. That's the example I was going to use as well. Final Fantasy VII Remake, it's literally called Remake. Like it's in the title. Yeah. So yeah, that's what we're going with. So we're going to each give 3 of our games, and so we're only going to have a total of 6. Before we get started, though, I do have one honorable mention because I was gonna put this one on my list, and then I did a little bit of research, and it turns out that it's not. It's been confirmed that it's getting a remake, and I'm really excited for it. So I didn't put it on my list, but it's far out, so I just wanted to give it a shout out, and that's the Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. I've been wanting a new Prince of Persia game. We just got one with what's it called? Something Crown. It's a Metroidvania style Prince of Persia, but I wanted them to remake the originals, and I was gonna put it on the list. I was like, oh, they confirmed it. That's awesome. So I think it comes out in like 2026 or something like that.
Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown.
Yeah, that's the newest.
Yeah,
one.
It looks really good, honestly.
Yeah, I do want to play that game, but I played a little bit of the Sands of Time back when it first came out, like 2001 or whatever it was. And I enjoyed it. So I would love to see that get like a full-on new style, new mechanic, new like coat of paint, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for it.
I too have 2 honorable mentions.
You have 2? Oh my goodness.
Well, the one of them is similar to you. It was originally on my list, and then I found out apparently it is already in development.
Oh.
Since 2022.
Hopefully it's not in development purgatory.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it finishes because I would love to play it. The Witcher, which was originally released in October 26, 2007.
The Witcher? Wait, you mean like the Witcher 3 series? Like that series?
Yes, the first game of that
what
trilogy.
You said 2007, so that would have been 360?
No, I believe it's just PC.
Oh, okay.
But it is a game, so I have a little history with it because I have never completed that game, but I own all 3 Witcher games. I have tried playing that game at least 7 times. Jeez. And I always get to Act 2, and then for some strange reason, I don't know why, but my save file gets corrupted or something, and I can't continue playing. I have to start all over. So I take little breaks from doing it because it is a long game. Now that I know that it is being developed, I'm really hoping it pans out because it's being developed by a studio called Fool's Theory, but it is being closely monitored by Project CD Red,
What
who
if,
created The Witcher
what
games.
if when you finally get the remake, it still glitches out right in the same spot, and it's just Destiny being like, you can't beat this
I,
game.
it genuinely feels
It,
like that
what
sometimes
if
whenever I
it's
play
like
that
it's
game.
in the coding? Like they just took the original coding and just threw it into the remake and just like made it a little bit
Ah,
better looking, and then it's like, oh, by the way, this is still corrupted.
so one of the things I'm going to do with our little remakes is add suggestions on what I'm looking forward to or what I would hope they would do.
Okay,
One of the things I would hope for the Witcher remake would be a different viewpoint because it's a top-down game instead of a third person like the other Witcher games.
interesting
And
choice.
I would want it to be more like I would want them to modernize it to be like the other two
That
Witcher
makes
games.
sense. It's kind of like what they did with GTA and turned it into a third person thing and became a giant phenomenon.
Yeah. And then the other honorable mention I have is Time Splitters Future Perfect.
Time Splitters is
Uh,
very popular.
yes, it was originally released in March 21st, 2005. Um, this one, I I almost I almost hesitate making it or calling it a remake because I kind of really just am looking forward to like a graphical overhaul.
That
But
sounds like a
also, I wouldn't
remaster.
mind. Yeah, I wouldn't mind like some mini games added to the game, some more things to make it more engaging.
I don't know,
Because
Nate.
while
That
I
that
did,
sounds like a remaster, not a remake.
well, no, I do want more mechanics, new mechanics. I would like more weapon diversity. I would like a bit more content. So yeah, I there is enough to make. I would consider it a remake because it is new mechanics, new graphics, and a slightly new story.
Okay, all right. If you want to count it as a remake, be all right. All right.
Yes. But those are my two honorable mentions for this list, and not my official three.
All right. So who wants to start? You want to start with yours? You want to start? You want me to start with mine?
I'll start with mine.
All right.
I'll go from 3 to 1.
Are we doing
Uh,
3-3 and then 2-2 then 1-1?
yes.
All right. Cool.
All right. So the first or the last on my list is Star Wars: The Knights of the Old Republic 2, specifically 2, because uh, while I did love both of these games, this was original release December 6th, 2004. Um, it is the weaker of the two game mechanic wise. From what I understand, it had a lot of issues because the company above the development team was trying to rush it out and get it out there in that year. Um, and so they had to cut a lot of content and whatnot. Fans have added content and re-added some of the cut content from files they found within the game's coding. But I would like it to be officially done and with much better graphics, and for them to add all of the mini games they had to cut because of it. Um, Basically, I want to see the original idea that they had for this because it sounded really cool. They had an entire planet that was supposed to be dedicated to droids, and that sounds awesome. Instead, that planet got cut, and the assets had to be moved to a one level area. Um, so yeah, I would love for Star Wars: The Knights of the Old Republic 2 to get a remake.
I know that that game was on a ton of lists that I saw because I was doing a little bit of research before I was finishing up my list and like seeing what people wanted, and this was on a bunch of lists. Was the Knights of the Old Republic?
Yeah, I can definitely see why. Because, like I said, this game, I mean, all the people I know who have played the Knights of the Old Republic games, both games are very beloved. It's just Knights of the Republic 2. I guess the lead company really wanted to just quickly cash in on the success of the first one, so they were trying to rush it out so people would buy it, and it worked. I mean, people still bought it, but it just didn't feel fully cooked. I want them to cook it fully.
Fully cook it.
So that is my first of this trilogy
Okay.
list.
I mean, there's a lot of Star Wars games out there, and I'd be okay with like a lot of them getting remade.
Oh yeah, one of the reasons why these two particular games are so high up there for me is because you can choose between like your decisions basically form whether you are a Jedi or a Sith. Um, and also kind of introduced the idea of a gray Jedi. At least from my knowledge, I mean, there were a ton of legend books out there that might have introduced gray Jedi that I didn't read. Possibly, I don't know. This is what introduced gray Jedi to me, and that's kind of what I always stuck to is kind of a gray Jedi. Like I did some evil acts and some good acts, but I didn't think the evil acts were really bad,
Nate, you
honestly.
know how you said that sometimes that if you a remake can like trying to change the story a little bit. Yeah, they're just gonna remake it, and all of a sudden you're playing as Jar Jar, and it's gonna be Jar Jar the entire time, and it's gonna be a story about Jar Jar Binks.
I mean, I feel like that would be a great bonus thing just to throw that in for fans. But if that was the main thing, I would be like, ah, fuck this shit. I want a refund.
Uh,
Uh, but actually, like one of the things that I really enjoyed about the second game over the first was that there were like three Sith antagonists instead of just the one. And just man, I just love the style of Star Wars.
I
And
mean,
this
you're
really
one
hit
of
the
the
notes.
biggest Star Wars fans I know.
Which is crazy. Like I'm not that big of a Star Wars fan as much anymore. Like I haven't really watched a lot of the newer stuff. Um I just really love the aesthetics of Star Wars and older Star Wars stuff.
When it comes to Star Wars stuff,
Um
and nowadays I'm so tired of Star Wars that people start talking about Star Wars, I just kind of glaze over. I'm just like, all right,
when it comes honestly, I think nowadays I would say probably Ty is the one who knows the most about Star
that's
Wars
probably
amongst
true.
us three.
That's probably true.
Because at least I feel like I'm pretty sure he's at least watched the newer stuff, so he's at least caught up with lore.
I mean, yeah, he's a big fan of Sith Lord Jar Jar. So
Shout out to Fortnite for bringing that into reality again.
yeah.
Thanks for that.
All right. So I guess we're gonna move on to my number three now.
Yes.
All right, my number three. It came out in February 11th in 1990, and it is Dragon Quest IV, specifically the fourth game. While they are making Dragon Quest 1 through 3 in the HD 2D remake thing, I don't want that. What I want is I want it to be fully remade in the style of Dragon Quest 11. I want it to be fully animated, fully that bubbly style artwork that Dragon Quest is known for in the modern third person games. I want to be fully explore the world of Dragon Quest 4.
Okay.
So I played the original Dragon Quest 4. I never played it on the console it was on, but they have it on Androids and iOS on your Apple devices, and I bought it for that for like $7 or whatever. And I didn't beat it. I never beat the game, so that would be another thing I'd want to do is I want to beat the game. But I played a whole lot of it, and I had a really good time. And seeing the characters, because that's the one thing I loved about Dragon Quest IV was some of the characters they introduced had really interesting backstories, interesting like personalities and stuff like that. The hero was an interesting thing, and I love to see it fully fleshed out in that Dragon Quest XI style. Having them fully go into cutscenes and animation and being able to like show with depth of who they are, where they came from, their backstories. It'd be so freaking awesome. And the combat would look so much better with that. I mean, it's still turn-based, which is exactly what I want. But it would, in Dragon Quest XI, they show animations when they're fighting and stuff. The spells have, like, animation styles to it. The sword swings, everything. I'd love to see it in that style.
The only Dragon Quest game I ever played was Dragon Quest IX, Sentinels of the Starry Skies.
That is another
Never
one
beat it,
that
though.
I never beat either. I almost put Dragon Quest VIII on here because that game is really good. But that game was originally on the PS2, and they remastered it for the 3DS. The only thing I want to see is I want to see it get to modern consoles, but that's not a remake. They've already remastered the game, so it wouldn't. I think going from a pixelated game to a fully 3D style game would be a lot better.
Give us a Persona-looking Dragon Quest game.
No, give us a Dragon Quest XI because Persona is a very different art style. I love the bubbly,
The art style
cartoony, but I like that bubbly, cartoony style art style. Dragon
That's
Quest.
fair. You like, yeah.
My
You like
top
the
two
DBZ
favorite games of
style
all
of anime.
time. I know I talk about Kingdom Hearts all the time, but that is not even in my top two games. That's my third game. My top two favorite games of all time is Persona 5 Royal and Dragon Quest XI. They are amazing games, and it's hilarious that you brought up Persona because those are my favorite games. But that's the kind of person I am. I like those styles of games. So those are the two art styles I really like. So honestly, just make them all Persona, or not Persona, make them all Dragon Quest XI style. I'd love all of them to get remade. But specifically 4. That'd be the first one.
The thing I always, like, when it came to art style, I always linked Dragon Quest to more like Dragon Ball Z looking art.
Which is crazy because it's nowhere near Dragon Ball Z art style. The Dragon Ball Z art style is all flashy and like dark, like bold lines and stuff, and they focus really hard on like power and stuff. And Dragon Quest is more like, hey, we're having fun, we're going on an adventure, we're gonna stop the evil, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff.
It's more story. I'm talking about like actual art style. If you look at them side by side, they're almost exactly the same art style.
Old Dragon Ball Z. Old style Dragon Ball, yeah. But modern,
yes.
Like if you look at Dragon Ball Super and Dragon Ball Dynama, way different art style.
Oh yeah, Dynamo is a chibi thing.
Well, no, I'm not even talking about the looks of the character. I'm talking about the way it's drawn because it's not hand drawn anymore. It's all like it's really hard to explain. I just feel like newer. Okay, one of the arguments you have about Attack on Titan is that you don't like the art style of Attack on Titan. The new Dragon Ball stuff reminds me of Attack on Titan art style. Because they have that really bold, like, lines. They have those really bold, like, outlines for the characters and stuff like that. And their attacks are really bold. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I could be wrong. But yeah. That's why I'm going with Dragon Quest as my number 3.
Okay. I'm just going to look something up real quick.
You're going to try to prove me wrong?
No, I think Akira Toriyama was the artist for Dragon Quest, at least originally.
Really?
Which is my...
He could be.
That's what I'm looking up.
You could be right. I could be wrong. But I haven't played that many Dragon Quest games. I started with 11, which it was probably the worst one to start with because it's just like it put all of them on a pedestal of like you have to beat this game, and none of them could match it for me. So I started with 11, then I played 9, and then I played 4, and then I played a little bit, not 9, I played 8, and then I played 4, and then I played a little bit of 9.
Yeah, he did artwork for every single Dragon Quest game until he passed.
Oh, man. I guess you're right. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I just wanted to believe it was something different. Look how foolish you just made me look on this podcast.
Welcome, audience. There's a specific reason why it always stuck to me, because there is one of the main characters of one of the Dragon Quests who has extremely spiky red hair, looks almost identical to Goku. And I was like, why is Goku in this Final Fantasy looking game? So, yeah, it just always stuck to me that way.
All right.
That's a good pick, actually, though. I like the idea of updating an older game, especially from a much older look to a more modern 3D style.
Now, don't get me wrong. The HD remakes, the 2D HD whatever 1 through 3 they're doing, I'm totally gonna get those, and I'm super looking forward to them because I still love that 2D style gameplay. I love it, but I really would love to see a fleshed out 3D game.
So I guess that takes me to my second one then.
Yep.
Well, going off of what you did, I too am going for a completely different art style.
All right.
So my second one is Fallout, which was originally released October 10th, 1997.
Fallout's that old?
Yeah, well, the first Fallout game, yes.
I'm just saying, like, when I associate Fallout, I associate it with Fallout 3 and New Vegas.
Yeah, that's what most people do.
Okay, because I'm like, there's no way it came out in the 90s.
Because Fallout 1 and 2 were both top-down isometric role-playing games.
Oh, I never knew that.
They are not the first-person shooters that they become later on.
Oh, that's crazy. I never knew that at all.
I actually played Fallout completely through for the first time this year. Or maybe late last year. Within the last couple of months. And I really enjoyed the story. But the entire time I'm thinking, man, I really would love for this to look better. Now, it looks good. It just, I'm not a big fan of it being, like, all of the characters are just so tiny. It's really hard to make out details, which understandable.
It's almost like it came out in 1997.
Yeah, which is understandable. But again, that's the reason I would love for a remake on this, because I really would love for them to flesh this out and give us a 3D, more modernized version. Honestly, what I want is them to do with the original Fallout game what they did with Oblivion. Give us a completely overhauled look.
Wasn't Oblivion
and everything?
Wasn't that a remaster?
A remaster. It was, because they didn't change anything, because it was already first person game. What I'm wanting is for them to give it the graphics of Oblivion, is what I'm saying. Like,
so what you're wanting is basically, you're basically wanting them to take Fallout and turn it into Fallout New Vegas with the same original story.
Yes, but, well, not even the same original story. Well, because the story can be, the way is different whenever you play it. So really, for them to add more story would be fun, I guess, but unnecessary, because there's so many things. It is so many things you can do wrong in that game. I died, when I first played it, I died extremely fast because as I was traveling to a city during a little travel map moment, I ran into an encounter with like 15 rad scorpions that just decimated my level 1 character. I was like, oh, that's cool. It's a bit harsh. But I basically would love for them to overhaul it to just bring it into a first-person game, like the New Vegas, but give it the graphics of Oblivion.
Okay, I get
the new Oblivion.
I understand.
Because I love the graphics of the new remaster of the Oblivion.
It is popular.
Yeah, that is what I would do for this one.
Okay, all right, that's a pretty good pick. I was not expecting that pick, but that's a good pick.
Yeah, again, I've owned all the Fallout games. I've been wanting to play the original Fallout for so long. Finally, I just sat myself down and played it, and the entire time I'm just thinking, I wish I could make out some of these characters better.
If only it was better.
Some of these guys look the same. Oh, I just killed the big bad boss. He looks exactly like minion number 1 that I killed earlier.
It's like you're playing the game, also it's like, congratulations, you beat the boss. I'm like, I was fighting a boss?
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. He had some cool gear. So yeah, that'd be my second one, is Fallout the original.
Okay. So that brings me to my number 2, and my number 2 came out on March 19th in 1994, and that is Super Metroid. So,
Okay.
as you know, I've been recently getting into Metroid, very late to the game,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I played Metroid Dread recently, and my god, that game is so much fun. And that is what I want for Super Metroid. So Super Metroid came out on the SNES, the SNES, and I tried playing it. I
Super
wasn't,
Nintendo system.
yeah, and I wasn't the biggest fan of the controls. The controls are different than most of the Metroid games because, like, you use the bumpers to look diagonally to like. So if I hit the right bumper, it aims towards the right corner, and if I hit the left bumper, it aims towards the left corner. And if I have to use the directional arrows to go up and down, left and right, kind of thing. I wasn't a fan of like the directional thing because they had to use like a limitation for the hardware at the time. And what I want them to do with this remake is I'd love for them to visually turn it into basically Metroid Dread. I want them to add in the mechanics of the style of Metroid Dread, where they've got the counter. So in Metroid Dread, you can use a counter. Basically, Samus, if somebody's attacking, you can smack them back and then fire at them, and it's how you basically not die all the time. And I'd love to see that and brought into Super Metroid. I just want to basically play Super Metroid story with the visuals, the gameplay, and the mechanics, and all the updates of Dread. I'd love to see that.
Okay.
I consider it a remake because they're literally adding core mechanics into the game.
Yeah, no, I agree that it's a remake. When did Metroid Dread come out? Like, would you want those exact graphics, or would you
Oh,
want
hell yeah! That's
more
I
updated
love
graphics?
those graphics. It came out.
Oh, it came out in 2021.
Yeah,
so,
it came out a couple years
yeah,
ago.
That should be fine graphics wise.
I mean, even if they bring it to the Switch too, I'd be okay with those graphics too. You know what I'm saying? but,
Yeah.
but man, Metroid Dread was so much fun, and it made me want to explore more of the stories of the older games. And the older games are fun. Like I played Metroid Zero Mission. I played that on this channel actually. And I played a little bit of Fusion, and I did try, like I said, try to play Super Metroid. I couldn't get past I was not a fan of the gameplay. Like I couldn't get past the controls. That pissed me off the most. So if you could just take that, put it in the graphical and the controls with updated stuff and Metroid Dread style mechanics, I'd be so happy. And that's why it's my number 2, because I want more Metroid. I love
That's
2D
fair.
Metroid. I like 2D Metroid. I'm in the minority here. I bought Metroid Prime Remaster because I never played the Metroid Prime games, and I'm like, all right, this game is so hyped up, and I was just getting off of the high of finishing Metroid Dread. And I'm like, oh man, I want more Metroid. So I'm like, oh, there's a sale on Prime. Everybody says it's the greatest game ever. I'm gonna play it, and I'm like, man, it's not terrible, but I don't know. It's not for me. I like Metroid in 2D. I don't like the 3D Metroid. That's just a preference of mine.
I mean,
it's just my preference.
Yeah, some people just prefer different styles.
But yeah, give me
That's
Super Metroid Dread.
Super Metroid Dread. Hey, you already gave them the title.
There you go.
How nice of you. Now they owe you royalties.
Oh yeah, the Lyman Wolf podcast gets all royalties for that title now.
I'm glad you included me on that.
Hey man, I'll give you a couple pennies. You know, that's fine.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. A couple pennies I can push around.
All right, so what is your number 1?
My number 1 is Jade Empire.
Oh, we've talked about this
originally
before.
Yes. This was a good one back in the day. Released April 12th, 2005.
Isn't this
really what I would...
Sorry, isn't this it's not turn-based, it's a tactical strategy game. Isn't that what that is?
What do you mean by tactical? Like a RTS?
Yeah, isn't that what style game this is?
No.
No? Oh, maybe
No,
I'm thinking of a different game.
it's a third-person fighting adventure game kind of
Oh,
thing.
I was completely off base then. Never mind.
Yeah. Think like I guess I hesitate to liken it to this, but I guess like Mass Effect, but in
Really?
uh, Asian culture. Yeah,
Okay.
like
Nice tiptoe, but that's cool.
it was. Well, it's more like I could be remembering wrong is why I'm hesitant to be like, this is what it was like. Because I have done that a few times where I'll remember other games and think those are the games that I'm trying to talk about. Uh, it is. I'll just do this.
You're just
It
gonna
is
bring it.
a action RPG.
Okay.
Yep, I'm just gonna read the choices and actions will determine the fate of the entire Jade Empire. So yeah, it's
Oh, cool. It's games I
Asian
don't like.
culture Mass Effect.
Cool. It's games that I don't like.
Uh,
Choices that affect the story. Yuck.
Yes.
My least favorite type of
favorites.
game.
And it was made by BioWare, so that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, it totally makes
Um,
sense now.
Yeah. So I would want them to make a remake, give it a graphical overhaul, make it more modern looking. But here's the thing the biggest thing I would want them to change. One of the cool things about this was that when you create your character, it doesn't let you actually create a character. It lets you distribute points for your character, skills and stuff. And they would have, I forget how many, but they had like a set number of preset characters that you could pick from. And each of those characters are like a different play style. Once you pick them, you can then pick a different fighting style that would fit more your taste of gameplay. What I would want is go ahead and give us those characters, but I would want them to give us either a custom character, like you can fully customize this character's looks and whatnot, or make it to where you could still pick the preset characters, like they still have their history, their stats, and all that stuff. But make it to where you can change their looks, hair color, or hairstyle, clothing color, tattoos. Because one of the cool things I loved about this was the inclusion of characters with tattoos. They just look so sick to me. Yeah, just give us more character customization with this game and give us a graphical overhaul. Add a little bit more content because, I mean, more content with BioWare game just sounds amazing to me.
That
Always,
sounds
no
very
matter how much more
long to
content.
me. So much long.
It is, and I love me some long games.
I
I'm
like
currently playing a really long
Persona
game.
and Dragon Quest are my two favorite games, and they're like 100+ hours just for the story. But that's a linear story, Nate.
Yeah, I want me some choices.
Oh
Grayson.
no, linear character development.
Let me decide my fate.
Oh
Don't
no, I
give
don't want
me
that.
fate.
I'm not creative
So
like
yeah,
you.
This is just a really fun game that I would love them to bring back and give
Okay.
us a nice little painted coat on it.
Sounds like a remaster.
How is that a remaster?
I just
I'm
wanted
literally
to- I
wanting
wanted-
new mechanics.
I just wanted to get a hype. I just wanted to get a rise out of you.
antagonizing me. Yeah, stop trying to antagonize me.
Okay.
What's your last one?
All right. My number one is a game that came out in 2001. So my first 21st century game. And that is The Legend of Zelda, The Oracle of Seasons, and Oracle of Ages. I'm lumping them together because they're the same fucking game. But they're two sides of the same coin of games. So they released two games, and they literally... It frustrated me back as a kid. I owned both of them, but I didn't realize this until I had to beat both of them. That in order to get the full story of the game, you have to buy both games and finish both games. Which is really irritating. Okay. But that's why I'm lumping them together. That's my whole point. What?
Just Googling this, just by Googling this, Google itself already lumps them together.
Yeah, right.
Calling them the Legend of Oracles.
Yeah, they're the Legend of Zelda, or I call them Oracle of Seasons / Ages. I had a toss-up
Yeah.
between this game and my favorite Zelda game, which is The Legend of Zelda and the Minish Cap. And I thought that Ages and Seasons would be better choice because I think the Minish Cap aged a lot better than Seasons and Ages because the Minish Cap was on the Advance and the Seasons and Ages was on the Game Boy Color. And so you got that pixelated art for I always forget, Game Boy Color, was that 8-bit or 16-bit? I can't remember. I want to say it's 8-bit.
Don't know.
I don't know. I can't.
I'll look that up. You
I
go
can't
ahead
remember.
and keep talking. I'll look.
But mainly is that the Minish Cap holds up a lot better, and I wanted to see that go from that pixelated art to a I want a Link's Awakening style. So when they recently remade Link's Awakening, which wasn't originally a Game Boy game, and they brought it into a fully new coat of paint, fully new way it plays, brand new look. It is. So I have a quick question. So you've seen Link's Awakening, the new one. What is your thoughts on
It looks cute.
What is your thoughts on the toy style artwork? Because it's really it's a lot of mixed reviews on the art style. I've seen
I like
online.
it. It's cute. It's a nice, like. Ultimately, these games were made for children.
Which is crazy because Oracle of Seasons and Ages can be really freaking hard to beat, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, though, like, a lot of games back in the day were very difficult. Just think on all the Disney games that they released back in the day. They were insanely
the
difficult.
scars, the horror.
Yeah. So,
come, kids, play the Lion King. Oh, no.
When we say they're for kids, it's not saying like, oh, they're easy games to play. It's just they're to entertain children. And we as adults find them entertaining as well.
Yeah.
And the style they went with, in my opinion, appeals more to children. But
I'll still buy the crap.
That doesn't mean you can't. Well, it also doesn't mean that you can't like it because it's a cute looking style. People like cute things. Who knew? So yeah.
So
I don't have a problem with it.
So with the Oracle of Ages and Seasons.
Real quick, it is 8-bit.
That's right. Cool. So yeah, going from 8-bit to fully new style art, that'd be so cool. Anyways, so let me give you a little backstory about this game because I treasure these games. These games I played the shit out of in the car when I was a kid. And so Oracle of Seasons is more combat focused, and Oracle of Ages was more puzzle based. And what it was is basically, in Seasons you got a rod that can change the seasons. Each thing, every time you change the seasons, it kind of changes how the game plays. So like say you have a path blocked by snow, change it to summer, the snow's gone, you can go through the path, kind of thing. Ages was you get a harp, travel through time. Pretty simple. Go to the past, go to the future. That's it. It's really fun. Now, bringing that, you get in the games, you get like animal companions, and seeing those animal companions and the modern Link's Awakening style would be so interesting. Because like one of them is like you can get inside of a kangaroo pouch, and he has boxing gloves and he punches his enemies, and seeing that in that art style would be so weird, but I'm here for it. Plus you get flying bears.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. So yeah, Oracle of Seasons and Ages, super underrated Zelda game. Love that game. Love to see it brought into the modern consoles with that brand new art style, new mechanics even. Link's Awakening I think added more game mechanics too. Also, I just don't remember what they are. But yeah,
it definitely looked I don't know, it just looked fun. And sometimes that's really all you need for a game.
Slam. That's my number one, is The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons and Ages.
Okay, good pick, and one that I feel like probably has a higher percentage of being impossible.
I know. Nintendo, they're not greedy at all. They're not going to milk everything, all their IPs with everything they can, right?
The Link you wanted, no. Poor Link. So, yeah, I think that's a good one to end your list on.
All right. So overall, what did you think of these choices? Pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I like mine better, but
Oh yeah.
yeah.
It's funny how all yours are completely the opposite of my style of gameplay, but that's fine.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
my
you and
games
me
are
have different tastes in
yeah,
video games.
my games are good and your games are mid, and it's fine.
My games are story driven and player choice and amazing and beautiful. Yours are fun and lighthearted.
Such an asshole. Anyways, so that's what we're going to end the podcast with Nate being an asshole. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to us talk again like idiots because it's been quite a while since we've done one. I'm hoping we could do more in the future, more frequently, but with life, you never know. And we'll see you guys on the next episode.